everyone. In this video, I'll explain to you how I would learn data science if I had to start over from scratch. For context, I graduated from college with a data science degree, and I have been fascinated by the numerous resources online and physical that are great for beginners. I'll give a quick disclaimer that this process of learning data science will work with my learning style. So, while this process may not help you fully understand data science fundamentals, this is still a great starting point to learn data science. The first step is to learn computer programming. In terms of programming concepts, I would suggest learning these concepts: variables, data types, loops, functions slash methods, if else statements, and object oriented programming. For data science, Python and R are great programming languages to use. I would recommend learning Python to start since it has easy to read syntax and great built in data science packages. Here are examples of the well-known Hello World program written in Python and Java to compare their syntax. I picked these languages in particular since I first learned Java, then Python. As you can see, the Python code looks more intuitive and easier to read and understand than the Java code, despite the fact that both of them have the same output. With that in mind, let's quickly go over some common data types in programming, such as integer or int, char, string, double, float, and boolean. Integer, double, and float are all numerical data types. Char and string are text-based data types, and boolean is a data type with a binary value of true or false, or 1 or 0. Another concept to learn is loops, such as for and while loops. The basic idea of a loop is there is an initialization phase. Then a condition is checked, and if it's true, the code inside the loop is executed, the counter is updated, and the condition is checked again. Once it's false, the code exits the loop. Another concept is if else statements. The condition on the if part is checked, and if it's true, then the code inside the if part is executed. Otherwise, the code inside the else part is executed. The ternary operator essentially provides a one-line representation of the if-else statement. There are a ton of great online resources to get started learning programming. Two of them are Free Codecamp and Codecademy. I personally used Codecademy when I started learning Python, so I can attest to their program. If you prefer a book, there is Learn Python 3 the Hard Way. As for online courses, there are plenty of options on Coursera and Skillshare, just to name two platforms. A great way to learn programming is to play around with and experiment with simple lines of code, such as the hello world print statement, by adding an integer and seeing what happens. In that case, an error will occur since only strings can be printed, so you'll have to typecast or convert the integer to a string. Now, I would recommend dedicating a certain number of hours per day to learning programming. I would say it would take about a few weeks, assuming you devote about 3 to 4 hours per day consistently. One part of the process that takes as quickly as 1 second is to hit the like button for the YouTube algorithm to help push this video to others who are interested in data science. They said that turning the like button blue is a great way to learn programming and data science since it's actual data you can use for a project. So thank you for doing that. With that said, let's get back into the video. Now, another key concept of programming and data science is to learn data structures and algorithms. There are a few data structures in particular to keep in mind and learn for data science, such as dictionary slash hash map, linked lists, queues, heaps, trees, graphs, stacks, and arrays or lists. You can build a maze project, for example, to apply these data structures and algorithms. For statistics, it's good to know fundamental concepts such as mean, median, mode, standard deviation, confidence interval, combination, permutation, and probability. Essentially, high school stats and math courses are sufficient to get started with learning data science. Now, once you have a solid understanding of programming and stats, you're now ready to start working on projects. You can start with an existing project from Kaggle, GitHub, or from a university, but make sure to still experiment with the code to get hands-on experience with writing code for a project. One tip to keep in mind while working on a project is to work on one that you think is interesting and or useful. Another tip is to start small and grow from there. One of my first projects that I worked on that I found from Kaggle was the Titanic ML from Disaster Date project. It was the best first project for you to dive into ML projects and familiarize yourself with how the Kaggle platform works. The project is simple. Use machine learning to create a model that predicts which passengers survived the Titanic shipwreck. For another beginner project, I work with a partner to analyze a video game dataset and gather insights on the attributes of a popular game versus an unpopular game. We use Python for data analysis and Jupyter Notebooks as our IDE to plot global video game sales versus critic scores and a correlation heat map to see any correlation between these metrics. I'd recommend starting with this project or the Titanic project, or just browsing Kaggle to find another project with a topic that you're interested in. Another tip is to take notes on what algorithms and packages others use. Some common data science packages in Python I frequently use are NumPy, Pandas, and Matplotlib. In addition, it's good to learn the source code for the algorithms and try to implement them from scratch. For example, a great way to learn how ML algorithms such as k-nearest neighbors and decision tree work is to look at the source code in the scikit-learn documentation and try implementing them from scratch. Once you have worked on a fundamental project and learned some algorithms, it's good to work on more advanced projects where you can collect your own data or use advanced concepts such as deep learning, NLP, or computer vision. Once you have your projects up and running, it's good to make your work public on Kaggle, GitHub, your personal portfolio website, whether that's on GitHub Pages, Squarespace, or something else, a blog, Medium article, Tableau Public, or make a YouTube video walking through your project in real time. These platforms allow you to display your work to prospective recruiters and employers to give you an edge in the interview process. Putting your work on YouTube allows you to ask people to hit the subscribe button and turn on bell notifications to get notified when my new videos get uploaded to stay up to date with the latest videos on data science, machine learning, and college and career advice. So thank you for doing that. With that said, let's get back into the video. Now I'll go over my additional tips. My first tip is to make studying data science a habit. For example, try dedicating 30 minutes to 3 hours to study data science. If it's less than 30 minutes, it may not be enough time to make meaningful progress. If it's longer than 3 hours, you may get burnt out and affect your learning process. Another tip is to hold yourself accountable. One way to have accountability is to set goals and write them down on a sticky note. While it may be initially daunting and overwhelming to learn data science, it's important to set SMART goals and plan out a reasonable work schedule around your other commitments. For goal setting, one method I found helpful was setting SMART goals, which stands for specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time bound. Personally, as I have followed this strategy, I found it easier to articulate my specific goals every week and track my progress over time using a consistent work schedule. A third tip is to learn and work with APIs. It's one way to get actual data from companies and resources and update your data over time so that you have the latest data. Another tip is to learn and work with various types of data. It could be an Excel file, CSV, or TSV. For these, use pandas to work with these files. For a zip file or tar.gz file, it's good to know how to unzip and untar files programmatically using Python. This seems a bit daunting at first to figure out which tool in Python to use, but there are many resources online that document exactly how to use which tool in a particular scenario. In my experience, simply searching on Google or Stack Overflow has resulted in finding the solution that I needed for a particular issue. One other tip is to get familiar with reading documentation and commented code. Some specific examples include Python documentation, Pandas documentation, scikit-learn documentation, and commented code from GitHub repos. Now, I hope these steps help you become a great data scientist and find a data scientist job or way to monetize your new skills. Once you do, you could get started with investing in stocks by using the Webull link down below, and you'll get 2 free stocks when you deposit $100. You can also get started with investing with Bitcoin and other crypto by using my BlockFi link down below and get up to $250 in free crypto. So I hope you found a lot of value from this video. If you found this video helpful, be sure to hit the like button, subscribe to my channel, and hit the bell to get notified when my videos get uploaded. Also, comment down below what you learned from this video and what other topics you want to see. and share this video with anyone interested in learning about data science. Follow me on my socials for even more data science content. With that said, thanks for watching. Take care.